Well, hello and welcome to another Tyrrell's Classic Workshop. This time round, we're focusing on this car. This has been sort of a rolling project, not literally, but through the videos. We first got this car in just over 2 years ago, and it's the 6th ever production Lamborghini. It's chassis number 109, and the first 3 Lamborghinis were pre-production prototypes, really. And this is actually a pre-production car, but it is officially the 6th production car made by Lamborghini ever. So it's a very special car. It's a 350 GT, and we've done what I would call a partial restoration on it. So it was burgundy metallic when it came in. It looked very good. But once we started delving into it, particularly the aluminium bodywork, this is hand-formed aluminium bodywork, like the Aston Martin DB4, DB5, made by Touring of Milan, Superleggera, and the first Lamborghini was the 350 GTV, which was styled and made by Scaglione, the coachwork, and it was a bit of a disaster by general consent, frankly. And Ferruccio Lamborghini was not happy with the reception it got at motor shows. So he canned the Scaglione design immediately and went to Touring of Milan and got their chief stylist, Federico Formante, to redesign the 350 GT, and he came up with this, and it's a very, very nice car. It's quite aerodynamic, low frontal area. It's very light. It's about 1,200 kilos, which is very light by modern car standards. You won't be able to buy a Porsche Boxster that's 1,200 kilos, never mind a V12 engine car. And one of the things Federico concentrated on was making the car svelte, aerodynamic, different as well. And he went slightly with the Bat Alphas, as they were called in the 1950s, the Batmobiles. And he made the whole of the roof on this car is half a teardrop, essentially. So from here up, it's half a teardrop. It starts here and tapers to the back window. And the whole point of this is to make it look exotic, very beautiful. I mean, this is the mid-60s. This is not 2022. This shape was stunning at that time, really. I'm just trying to think, yeah, the Ferrari 275 was just coming out. No, it wasn't. 1964, it would be the 250 range, 250 GTEs, 330 GTC, which were, frankly, light years behind this in technology. Single overhead cam V12s. This was famously a 4-cam V12. He out-Ferrari'd Ferrari with the engine technology. And this car it's finished now, essentially. We've got some shakedown mileage to do, which is a surprising percentage of a restoration job. I would put the shakedown mileage at least 10% of the whole job. Drive, adjust, tighten, reset, readjust, redrive. That whole process can take quite a while to get the thing as right as it can possibly be. Tony has cut areas of the alloy body out and remade them. The seatbelt mountings were literally just a bolt through a piece of tin plate. If you imagine your body weight being hurled forward by an accident, that stands no chance of holding you in restraint whatsoever. It was about as much use as a piece of chocolate holding the seatbelt in place. So we've re-engineered that, given it proper seatbelt mounting so that the new owner can drive it, hopefully never needing to use it, of course, but knowing that at least he has a degree of safety. The engine we've given a refresh, no more. The bodywork was, as I say, part of the issue. Craig has made new carpets for it. And one of the things we did do when the car came in, this beautiful handmade chrome surround trim was missing off the back window, the rather large back window. And I've had a very painful process over the last 2 years trying to come up with a solution to this. I bought Porsche 911 windscreen surrounds experimentally to see if we can rehash those to fit. No. So what we've ended up doing is a rather different and more original solution than I had originally, and more expensive than I had originally anticipated. I'm going to be chatting with James about that in a minute. But beautiful car, this. I mean, a tremendous amount of Italian history caught up in this. The 6th ever car off the Lamborghini production line. And to give you some idea how personal it was at this time, the next car after this, Chassis 110, was bought by Ferruccio Lamborghini's brother, Edmondo. So it was a family affair. And the first few cars before this, and including this, were loaned to people who were sort of in the greater circle of Ferruccio's social realm, so that he could sort of keep an eye on them and make sure they were behaving themselves. What happened with this car, as did a lot of these cars, they went back to the factory, the Riparto Assistenza, in the mid-1960s. Car was built mid-1964, and in 1966 they came out with the 4-litre engine, the upgrade from the 3.5. It was more gutsy and more reliable, a bit more refining of the Bizzarini V12 that Ferruccio Lamborghini bought. And the factory did a lot of retrofitting. They took the 3.5-litre engine out and put a 4-litre engine in, straight swap. And of course, with a car weighing 1,200 kilos or under and 325 brake horsepower, this car went like the wind. It really did. It was an incredibly fast car for the 1960s. More powerful than a 275 Ferrari, for example, a 2-cam and a 4-cam, actually, but just about the same weight. End result, a startlingly quick car in 4-litre form, as we will hopefully find out when I take this for its first road test. This car was the first ever Lamborghini sold in France. It was at the Paris Motor Show in September of 1964. It was on display there, and it was the first ever French Lamborghini, and it was owned for 30 years by Edmond Siclet, who I've had the pleasure of meeting, and he was Lamborghini's technical head for 30 years, and it regularly drove to Sant'Agata, the factory in northern Italy, and back to Paris. So, lovely piece of Lamborghini history, this. And what we're doing with the original engine, I've managed to locate another 350 GT engine in conjunction with my friend, Olivier Nameche, who is an amazing Lamborghini historian and authority, and he's given me a lot of the background information to this car as well. I managed to locate an engine with him, and we are actually rebuilding that engine to look like, this is the matching number engine from the car. It's engine number 109. For various reasons, due to decomposition of the aluminium in the block, etc., we can't make it run again. We can't take that chance. But we are going to make it a beautiful static display engine. And for the nerds amongst us, the carburetors on the prototype engines, there's a photograph of Ferruccio famously surrounded by journalists in his factory running a V12 before it was actually put in a car, the original engine in late 63, early 64. And it had vertical carburetors, and vertical carburetors would never fit under this low bonnet line. So the production cars had the side draft Weber DCOE carburetors so that the bonnet line could be low. But I've managed to locate a set of the original vertical carburetors. So we're going to reproduce engine 109 as one of the, if not the original engine that he first revealed to journalists when the factory wasn't even built in Sant'Agata Bolognese in 1963. So there's lots of lovely history curios here. So let's have a chat with James and see how we managed to solve this rear window problem. Now then, James, we've been up to some mischief, haven't we?
Yes.
Because this has been an incredibly frustrating experience.
Yes, it has, yeah.
But we've eventually got in touch with some clever people, and they've taken a section, it's like a T-section, because there's a lip that actually fits inside the rubber, the window rubber, to like lock it into place.
That's right, yes.
And then it goes around the window rubber in a groove and makes it look very pretty, and also strengthens.
That's right, holds the screen into place. Yeah. We had a very small piece of original material.
We did.
And that was fortunate because we were able to have that copied.
We did pinch it off a Ferrari,
yes,
didn't we?
Yes, we did, yeah,
because it's the same section.
That's right,
fortunately. And that helped to justify the expenditure. We've had a die specially made for this, haven't we, of the right section.
Yes.
And this is actually soft aluminium, which polishes up and chrome plates. The original was either brass or aluminium, but using this Hello Dolly.
That's right, yeah, just an old dolly that I've got here.
You can, I mean, incredibly tight radii, actually, I believe is the expression.
That's right, yes. I can make the shapes nicely. It doesn't crack or just, you know, it just makes a lovely curve. This stays just where it should.
Isn't that wonderful?
And it fits in the car really nicely. And as you can see, you know, it really is quite easy using this to make whatever shape you need. You know, for the tight corners on the around the screen, or the gentle corners, you can do it all with that.
Well, we've got a Ferrari 250 here, which has the same.
That's right, we do.
Section. So we've been able to kill two birds with one stone, really. But this was, this was a leap of faith, because we really didn't know how this was going to turn out.
No, it was an experiment. That's right.
But it's turned out wonderfully.
Yeah, it's worked
we just
well.
need to get the two tiny. There's a gap normally, isn't there, on the
trim? That's
right.
Small chrome bit of trim. But they've been ordered. They're on the way. So
and that'll finish it off.
Yeah.
But I mean, that car's come on beautifully. I'm just about to take it for its first run post-restoration. But that's been a journey to get there.
Yes, it has, yeah.
It really has. We've tried all sorts.
But we got a good result in the end.
Amazing. Very satisfying. Yes. There we are. Right. We'll now go back to the car and see what mischief we can make over there. Well, now that we've had a word with James and the back window is in the car and all fitted, I'm going to take the car for a road test, but before I do, the engine is not running particularly smoothly, so I'm going to use my hose pipe and screwdriver to set the 12 carburettor chokes, or the 6 twin choke carbs, up by ear, and then we'll take the car for a run if it tunes in nicely enough. Well, the first thing, as usual, is to even the amount of airflow in before we start talking about mixture. And I'm going to just even up the air intakes on the carburettors first of all, to make sure we've got the same amount of thump through each one. That side is reasonably even. And this side is not. Okay. So, we can speed this one up because it's a little bit, or rather, not enough volume. Not even touching the linkage. There we are. It's getting better. Yeah, this front one is a little bit low, as is the back one. Getting better all the time. In fact, that's pretty good. Right, I'm now going to go around the mixtures and we can hear the tone of the engine change. There's a bump, 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 bump in the background there. There it is gone. I'm listening extremely carefully. That's it, the tone of the engine has gone up. It might even only be 20 RPM, but there is a change in tone. Definite drop on that cylinder. There it is. This is getting sweeter by the second. It's tuning in really well. Again, big cylinder drop there. I'm unscrewing, so I'm turning the idle mixture screw in to weaken the mixture, to put less fuel in. The engine note has definitely dropped there, and I'm screwing it out until that particular cylinder chimes in with the right mixture. There it is. Last one on this bank. Down. There it is. Beginning to smooth out really rather beautifully, that. Round to the other side. Start this end again, wind it down to here, wait for the mixture difference. There it is. Lovely, getting smoother by the second. Again, a slight drop in revs. There it is. Again, a drop in revs on that one. Unwind it back to the right mixture. There she is. Same again, big cylinder drop on that one. Wind it in till the mixture's too weak. There it is, the optimum. There it is. And that is pretty lovely. That's ready for a run. Clear it out, be lovely. Well, here we are in this amazing piece of automotive Italian history. The 6th ever production Lamborghini, and it's a long time since this car this is literally the first road test since the car was since we've rebuilt the car. I mean, we have only done a partial restoration, but I can tell immediately we got some rather interesting whistling noises coming from around the door window frames here. We're going to have to just pull those in a bit, which we can do, that's no problem. It's this sort of thing, even though we've done a partial restoration, quite a lot of it, but a partial restoration, it's amazing. People tend to underestimate the shakedown miles between actually putting a car back together, screwing it back together, and turning it into a proper working car. And so many cars that we get through the workshop have been restored, quote unquote, but they just don't have that final flourish or finesse of actually working properly. And people think this is how they should be, and they think it's character, they think it's a characteristic of the car. It absolutely is not. It's shoddy workmanship and lack of finishing. I can tell immediately this car is essentially all there. I mean, the steering wheel isn't straight, but that's quite normal. But I mean, that wind noise is very, very annoying. But in fact, I'm having to compete with it just to hear myself. But otherwise, it's great. The speedo is jumping about like mad. So we'll have to have a look at that, see if the cable's routed and greased okay. Gearbox is lovely, 5-speed ZF gearbox, which was fitted to the early Lamborghinis, is great. It's great, it's lovely. Suspension's very hard, but I guess that's how they were, because these are standard dampers, they're not uprated or anything, and they've been properly redone. But nevertheless, it sits on the road very well. It really does. It's a very happy car, actually. One thing I am going to see if I can do something about is the driving position, because the steering wheel is not dished. It's this beautiful, magnificent, flat steering wheel, but it's very close to the dashboard, and there's no dish as such, which means that my legs are scrunched up in typical Italian ape, as it was rather unfriendly called by motor road testers in the 70s, driving position. And it's very much sort of, you know, knees up somewhere near your ears and trying to cope with the rest of it. So I wonder if we can make a spacer up, actually, to just, there are spacers available for other Ferrari and Lamborghini models to actually get rid of that and bring the steering wheel a bit more out to make it more conventional. But apart from that, I mean, the car's sitting on the road well. The steering wheel is slightly offset. We have to accommodate the fact that I'm driving it on UK roads. So if I drive it on this side of the road, the steering wheel is rather more straight. Don't try that at home. No, I mean, it's very good. It's not dissimilar to a Ferrari 275. I've worked on plenty of 275s over the years. I think the first one I worked on was a 4-cam in 1987. And it's just more, the Ferrari is a very airy car, the 275 GTB, but this is even more airy. These tiny pillars and this huge teardrop type glass house, half teardrop. It makes it an incredibly easy car to see out of. You don't need mirrors. You can just look round and see the rear three-quarter view for pulling out, overtaking, etc. But I'm just gradually warming the car through. The water temperature's in the middle of the scale now. That's up to 83 degrees C, which is just about right. The cylinder head temperature on your average engine works at around about tappy, about 83 degrees C, the main gallery through the head, so that's okay. Oil temperature is up as well. We've got lovely oil pressure, 6 kilograms per centimetre, so wind noise permitting, I can actually just begin. There's a noise coming from the back which I'll need to make a note of as well. Sounds like the exhaust is rather massively catching the body, but again, these are adjustments. This is the whole point of these shakedown miles, to cater for things like this. But I mean, for a first pop out of the box, this is pretty good. I'm just going to open it up a little bit. Wow, plenty of performance there, as you'd expect. I mean, the car weighs 1,200 kilos, which is less than a new Mini, even with that huge 4-cam 12 carburettor or 6 twin-choke carburettor V12 in the front. It still weighs less than a new Mini. Unbelievable. And it's got, with the 4-litre engine, it's got 325 brake horsepower. So this car is still a very credibly quick car. In its day, the 350 GT was around about 155 miles an hour and sub 7 seconds 0 to 60, and that was definitely into the very fast car category in 1964. But with this engine in, which develops around about, can't be specific on the exact figures because European horsepower figures in the 1960s were literally, but yeah, it's got to be more powerful, the 4 litre, and considerably more torquey. I'm guessing the 3.5 litre was probably 280, 290 brake horsepower from memory. I think that's right. And this one's 325. But it's just, you know, the extra 15% of CC makes a big difference. And this car is, it's chomping at the bit. I can just tell it wants to go. I'm doing the grand total of about 45 miles an hour, and this wind noise is unbelievable. I'm going to have to bend these frames in, adjust these frames, sorry, not bend, adjust these frames in carefully to get rid of the wind noise. But nevertheless, straight out of the box, first time on the road for however many years. This is very good, very good. I just need to make a note of some things and do some fine tuning. And it's brilliant. Even the brakes, I mean, they're slightly pulling one way or the other, as you'd expect with them bedding in. We've freshly had everything rebuilt on the brakes. Pads are still bedding into the discs, that's why I'm not using them particularly hard. But yeah, I mean, once I get in on the straight here, I'm just going to open it up a little bit more and try that, savour that really very, very fast performance for 1964. Bellissimo! It's a sign of my confidence in the car that I'm able to do that, really. This sun visor is also a bit loose, which is also something that regularly happens with classic cars, is these little things, locks, windows, sun visors, seats, steering wheel position, controls, all these things have to be ironed out as best they can on 60-year-old components. But I'm very, very happy with this. This is great. What a privilege it is to have done the work on this car. It really is. Yeah, this is a good day in the office. It really is. We've spent 2 years rebuilding this car, or most of it, including all the handmade aluminium sections. Craig getting this special, very early headlining material. Lots of research, huge amount of research in my library and things like that to work out what exactly went into these early cars, and it's so satisfying to actually translate that into, forgive me, but a job well done. I mean, it's great. Yeah, I mean, it's very easy to get blasé about these things. Having had Ferruccio's own personal Lamborghini in, the Italian job Miura, I was privileged enough to drive on the Miura 50th anniversary tour with the factory, and took it to the Great St Bernard Pass. This is, I'd say, driving this car, one of the first Lamborghinis ever made, on its maiden road test after a pretty large restoration, is a lovely, lovely, lovely place to be. Oh, here we are, open road, one more time. That is fantastic. Absolutely wonderful. I've got a door frame screeching at me here. Do you know what? It doesn't matter. That'll be sorted. I think our customer is going to be very happy with this car when he drives it. We just need to The challenge now is for me to remember everything and write it all down. Oh yeah, very good. The pedals are also very close together, which makes for entertaining driving. I just pushed the accelerator then instead of the brake pedal. That would not be a good day at the office. Yeah, very good. So what I'm going to do now, having got over these speed bumps, is just pull over and write down what it is I need to write down, and I'm also going to see if the engine temperature behaves itself. So we have exhaust rattle, right hand rear, wind noise, now I can hear myself think, steering alignment, steering wheel, speedo needle, that is almost inevitably the cable, and basically a spanner check everything, tighten up, retune the engine. Precious little. Great, great, great. Very happy with that. Well, that almost concludes another Tyrrell's Classic Workshop video. We have had a lot of people asking for t-shirts like the team wear in the workshop. We've featured Pete, James, Leon, Alex on the videos, Marcus, and they all wear the Iain Tyrrell Classic Cars t-shirts. In fact, I don't really normally wear one, but I'm giving it a little bit of a plug today. And also people have been asking for these caps. So I can actually announce that we have actually got these online now. There's lots of people been asking for them. So they're available in the link on YouTube, in the description on YouTube, and also through my Instagram channel, Iain_Tyrrell, IAIN. TYRRELL. So that does conclude another Tyrrell's Classic Workshop video. Hope you've enjoyed it, and we'll be back with something soon.